So this is US dollar Japanese yen analysis for Thursday the 19th of October. Now let's look what's happened on the what's happened there. Let's have a look what's happened on the 18th of October. Now on the 18th of October, we did have a sell-off from the 17th all the way back down into support, the weekly pivot from a couple of weeks ago at 12.15. I did say I would like to see what I would like, depending on whether it held the support, we'd be looking at the upside targets, see how prices react in around the 12.50 and possibly 12.77. And let's be honest, prices have moved so strongly in an upward direction, it's even exceeded my expectations. So let's just have a look and let's just see where potentially prices could head. Now, the bullish price momentum currently in prices, we've not really seen much of a reaction. We have not had much of a pullback. We did have a bull flag form here earlier in the day, in around about 4 o'clock, near the end of the European session. So this bull flag may be just a case of European traders taking a bit of profit, and the US traders pretty much going off to lunch before the bids re-entered the market and the continuation to the upside. Our successful navigation of 12.52 and 12.77 means that our bias, while remains bullish, is to the upside. So we'll be looking at the most recent highs in around the 13.44, but this major level of 13.56 would definitely be the level we'll be looking at to see how prices react. If we do successfully break 13.56, or if we do consolidate beneath it, break above it, consolidate a little bit, a couple of retests, we would expect prices to go all the way up to 14.30. As can be seen, the 14.30 level is more prominent on the daily chart, which I'll be looking at soon. But that's definitely where we would expect prices to go in this continuation of bullish price momentum. If however we do break down, the levels underneath are pretty clear. We'll be looking to find possible support at 77. If not, we'll be looking at the very key level that it has been over the past couple of weeks now, 12.52. At a 12.52, we'd also have this 400 period moving average as well, possibly providing dynamic support as well as the 12.52 level, below which we'll be looking at the 200 period moving average and all the way back down to this weekly pivot at 12.15. So that pretty much should conclude the analysis for the execution time frame. So if I go out to the higher time frames on the monthly chart, and let's get scale on here correct. So on the monthly chart, I did mention that I was bullish in the shadow of the large bullish candle that we saw in September. I was not happy that at earlier in the month we were trading in bearish territory for quite some time on the US dollar against Japanese yen, as I expected a continuation of the bullish move from September. But the bullish move appears to be currently playing out. The bullish move appears to be currently playing out for a test of the 14.30 level. Now, I would expect, if you do have a look at this US dollar Japanese yen on this chart, we could potentially interpret this as being the low over here, and this being the higher low on this monthly chart. But we do have to be cautious, as we have tested these. We have tested the lows over here at 108 all the way down to 107, but the strong move in September, closing pretty close to the highs, does indicate that there has been a somewhat shift in momentum, particularly as we are, you would say, in a slight uptrend on this higher time frame. So if we go down to the weekly chart, see where we are now on a weekly chart. The trend was a sloping downwards trend, a series of lower highs and a series of lower lows, but there was not strong momentum to the downside for us to expect prices to go all the way down into the 102 levels. It does appear that the bears were somewhat cautious and the bulls were anticipating somewhat, while being cautious in their buying, They did not desert the market and leave the market for the bears to take control of. So we did see slight range in price action, even though it was slightly trending to the downside. So there's a bit of indecision there. But at present, at this weekly chart, we can see that prices have found a bid in and around this, where is that? The 200 period moving average. I did mention this on a previous analysis that the 200 period moving average was sitting at, on this weekly chart, at 1180. And we did have the major level of 1160, and in and around that zone is where we did find that bounce and the strong continuation, as evidenced on the hourly chart. It's more visible on the hourly chart. So the strong move so far this week, and prices currently trading near their highs, look poised for a test of 1356 and all the way up to 1430. So let's just have a look at the daily chart. So on the daily chart, we can see here, let's just get the scaling on here correct. So on the daily charts, you can see with these red arrows here to your left on the chart, and you know what, let's just grab the, just bear with me a second here. Let's just change the crosshairs to red so they become more prominent on the chart. So there we go. So over here we've got the red arrows indicating the 1430 level where we've rejected from in the past. Now prices have come down, and this is what I was mentioning. So we've had a low over here, a slightly higher low, but we've had a lower low over here as well. Now prices did appear at one point to look poised to put in a lower high, but we did have the we were cautious as we had the 1160 and 200 period moving average on the weekly and the daily time frame acting as potential support for prices. Now prices have come down to the 200 period moving average in pretty close to the 1160, that area of confluence, and we have caught a bid. Now the bid would appear to justify assuming it is a higher low, because we've had our low over here, potential higher low here of the dynamic support and the horizontal support of 1160, the confluence, for a move to the upside. Now we've seen a strong move off the 200 period moving average in and around that zone, and a further continuation here on the 18th with a strong candle closing pretty much near its highs. So we're expecting prices to continue all the way up to 1356 and eventually to test 1430. Above 1430, we've got possible minor resistance at 1474, above which we've got 1537. I wouldn't expect prices to move beyond 1537 within the next 2 days or so, but it's definitely something to look at. If we do reject from the heart from 1356 or 1430, all the other levels beneath which we would potentially find support have already been highlighted. So that should wrap up the US dollar yen analysis. So before I go, LCS, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.